My child. Before you scroll past this message like you've been passed over so many times before, listen closely, because this is not just another video, this is not just another message. This is me speaking to you, the one who has been silently wondering why life kept choosing everyone else while you were left waiting, hoping, and questioning your worth, and if you've ever felt like you were invisible in a world that keeps celebrating others while ignoring you, then this message was meant to find you right now. There was a time when you kept showing up with hope in your heart and faith in your hands, believing that this would finally be your moment, your chance, your breakthrough, but somehow life kept passing you by as if your name was never even called, as if you were invisible in rooms where you deserved to be seen, as if every opportunity had a list and your name was always just one line below the cutoff, and you started to wonder quietly, painfully, deeply, what is wrong with me? Because it felt like no matter how much you tried, no matter how much you gave, no matter how much you stayed patient, something always slipped away at the last second, and people who did less seemed to get more, people who didn't even value what they had were chosen before you, and that kind of silence from life. It changes a person, it makes you question your worth, it makes you doubt your timing, it makes you feel like maybe you were created just to watch others win while you stand still, but what you didn't realize in those moments of being overlooked, what you couldn't see through the tears and the confusion, was that you were not being skipped. You were being set apart, because there is a difference between being rejected by people and being reserved by God, and the delay you experienced was never a denial, it was divine positioning, it was preparation happening behind the scenes while you were focused on what you didn't have yet, because God doesn't rush something that carries weight, He doesn't release something powerful before it's fully ready. And you were always meant for something deeper, something heavier, something that required more strength than what you had back then, and that's why you were held back while others were sent ahead, because what looks like delay in your eyes is actually protection in God's plan, and the truth is, if you had received everything you prayed for at the time you wanted it, you wouldn't have been ready to handle it, it would have broken you instead of blessing you. It would have overwhelmed you instead of elevating you, and that's the part no one talks about, the part where being skipped was actually saving you from something you couldn't see yet, because sometimes the worst thing that could happen is getting what you want before you are prepared for it, and I knew that about you, I knew your heart, your limits, your hidden wounds, your silent struggles, and I said, not yet. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you were too valuable to be rushed, too important to be mishandled, too chosen to be placed in the wrong season, and while you were watching others celebrate things you prayed for, I was quietly building something inside of you that no one else could see. I was strengthening your patience, deepening your faith, sharpening your awareness, and teaching you lessons that can't be learned in comfort, because there are certain levels of purpose that only grow in seasons of waiting, in moments where nothing makes sense, in times where all you can do is trust without evidence, and that kind of growth. It's not visible, it doesn't get applause, it doesn't get recognition, but it changes everything, because when your moment finally comes, you won't just receive it. You'll be able to sustain it, and that's the difference between people who rise quickly and fall just as fast, and those who are built slowly but stand unshaken, and you. You were being built, piece by piece, in silence, in pain, in confusion, in nights where you felt forgotten, but I never forgot you, not even for a second, even when it felt like heaven was quiet, even when your prayers felt like they were hitting a wall, even when nothing around you was changing, something within you was, and that's where the real transformation happens, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not in the celebration, but in the struggle. And now something has shifted, something has changed in a way you can feel but maybe not fully explain yet. Doors that were once closed are starting to open, people are beginning to notice you differently, opportunities are appearing out of nowhere, and it feels almost unreal because you spent so long being overlooked that being chosen now feels unfamiliar. But this is what happens when I decide it's your time. Everything aligns in ways you couldn't force, everything moves in ways you couldn't control. And suddenly the same world that ignored you starts making space for you, and it's not because you became lucky, it's because your season finally arrived, because there is a divine order to everything, a timing that no human can manipulate, and when that timing clicks into place, nothing can stop what is meant for you, not delays, not rejection, not past failures, not even your own doubts. Because what I have prepared for you was never dependent on who accepted you before, it was always dependent on when you were ready to receive it, and now you are stronger, wiser, more aware, more grounded, and more connected to your purpose than ever before. And that's why things are changing, that's why you are being placed first now, not as a coincidence, but as a confirmation that everything you went through had a purpose, every tear had a reason, every delay had a direction, and every moment of feeling skipped was actually leading you to this exact point where you are no longer waiting to be chosen, because you have already been chosen by me, and when I put you first, no one can push you back, no one can replace you, no one can take what was written specifically for your life, because divine selection doesn't follow human rules, it doesn't depend on popularity, status, or timing according to the world, it depends on alignment with purpose, and you are finally aligned. Finally in the place where what you deserve is starting to meet you, where what you prayed for is starting to recognize you, where what you thought was lost is starting to return in ways bigger than you imagined, and this is just the beginning, because when I elevate someone who has been overlooked, I don't do it halfway, I don't do it quietly, I do it in a way that makes it clear that it was me all along, in a way that makes people question how you went from being ignored to being undeniable. In a way that reminds you that your story was never ordinary, it was always meant to be a testimony of patience, faith, and divine timing, and the same people who didn't see your value before will start to see it now, not because you changed who you are, but because your moment has finally revealed who you've always been, and that's the power of waiting on me. It doesn't just give you what you want, it transforms you into someone who can carry it with grace, with strength, with purpose, and with clarity. And now that you are here, now that you are stepping into what was prepared for you, don't look back with regret. Don't question why it took so long, don't let the past make you doubt the present, because everything happened exactly the way it needed to happen to bring you to this point, and the truth is, you were never behind, you were never forgotten, you were never less than anyone else, you were simply on a different path, a path that required more time, more growth, more depth, and now that path is leading you into a season where you are no longer overlooked but prioritized, no longer ignored but recognized, no longer skipped but selected first, and this time. It's not temporary, it's not fragile, it's not something that can be taken away easily, because it was built on everything you endured, everything you learned, everything you survived, and that kind of foundation doesn't break, it doesn't collapse under pressure, it stands firm, it holds steady, it carries you forward into everything that was meant for you from the very beginning, and if you can understand this one truth, if you can truly accept that your delay was not a mistake but a strategy, not A punishment but a preparation, not a rejection but a redirection, then you will stop questioning your past and start embracing your present with confidence, with peace, with certainty that what is happening now is not random, it is the result of divine timing finally unfolding in your favor, and from this point on, things will not be the same, because once I put you first, your life doesn't go back to being second. It moves forward into a new reality where your value is undeniable, your purpose is clear, and your path is guided in ways that no human interference can disrupt, and you will look back one day, not with pain, but with understanding, not with regret, but with gratitude, because you will finally see that every moment of being skipped was actually leading to this moment of being chosen, this moment of being elevated, this moment of being placed exactly where you were always meant to be. And when that realization fully settles in your heart, you will no longer feel like you lost time, you will feel like everything happened right on time, exactly the way it was supposed to, because my timing doesn't miss, it doesn't fail, and it doesn't forget. And neither were you. My child. You thought the silence meant I wasn't listening, you thought the waiting meant I wasn't working, and you thought the closed doors were signs that you were not chosen, but what you couldn't see was that every no you received was protecting you from a place that could not hold your future, every delay was separating you from people who would have mishandled your heart. And every moment of being overlooked was actually positioning you for something that would not require you to beg, chase, or prove your worth, because what comes from me will never require you to lose yourself to keep it, and I watched you in those moments when no one else did. I saw the nights where you questioned everything, the days where you smiled outside but felt empty inside, the times you almost gave up but still chose to believe even when it made no sense, and that kind of faith. It does not go unnoticed, it does not go unrewarded, because I am not just preparing blessings for you, I am preparing you for the blessings, and there is a difference, because if I only gave you what you asked for without transforming who you are, you would lose it as quickly as you received it, but when I build you first, when I strengthen your mind, your heart, and your spirit, then what you receive will stay, it will grow, and it will multiply in ways you cannot imagine right now, and that is why your journey has been slower, heavier, and more confusing than others, because your calling is different, your purpose is deeper, and your impact is greater than what you can currently see, and I needed you to become someone who could carry that weight without breaking, without losing yourself, without forgetting me in the process, because many people receive blessings and forget the source, many people reach success and lose their soul, but you were chosen to rise differently, to walk in purpose without losing your peace, to gain without becoming empty, to be elevated without becoming arrogant, and that requires a level of preparation that cannot be rushed, that cannot be skipped, that cannot be taught overnight. It has to be lived, it has to be experienced, it has to be built through moments that stretch you, challenge you, and sometimes even break you. Because the version of you that is stepping into this next season cannot be the same version that was crying over things that were never meant to stay, cannot be the same version that accepted less than what you deserved, cannot be the same version that doubted your own value, and that is why I allowed certain things to fall apart, that is why I removed people you thought you needed, that is why I closed doors you kept knocking on, not to hurt you, but to free you. Because sometimes the biggest blessing is not what I give you, but what I take away from you, and I know that part was painful, I know it didn't make sense, I know it left you with questions that no one could answer, but if those things had stayed, they would have blocked what I am about to bring into your life now, and you would have settled for less simply because it was familiar, and I did not create you to settle, I created you to stand in fullness, to walk in purpose, to live in alignment with everything I placed inside of you, and now you are closer than you think, closer to the breakthrough, closer to the clarity, closer to the life that once felt impossible, and you can feel it, even if you can't explain it. There is a shift happening inside you, a new level of awareness, a new sense of peace, a new strength that wasn't there before, and that is the sign that your season is changing, because before I change your situation, I change you. Before I open doors around you, I open something within you, and once that happens, nothing can stop what is coming next, because you are no longer the same person who was once overlooked. You are now someone who is aligned, prepared, and ready to receive what has been waiting for you all along, and when it arrives, it will not feel forced, it will not feel confusing, it will not feel like something you have to chase, it will feel right, it will feel peaceful, it will feel like something that fits your life without breaking your spirit, and that is how you will know it is from me, because what comes from me brings clarity, not chaos, it brings peace, not pressure, it brings purpose, not confusion, and this time, you will not have to question if you deserve it, you will not have to wonder if it will last, you will not have to fear losing it, because what I am placing in your life now is not temporary, it is not fragile, it is not something that depends on circumstances, it is something that is rooted in everything you have become, everything you have learned, everything you have endured, and that kind of blessing. It stays, it grows, it multiplies, and it changes not just your life, but the lives of those connected to you, and that is why I could not rush this process, that is why I could not skip your preparation, that is why I allowed you to feel what you felt, to go through what you went through, to face what you faced, because it all had a purpose, it all had a reason. It all was leading you to this exact moment where you are no longer the one being overlooked, but the one being positioned, prioritized, and placed exactly where you were always meant to be, and as you step into this new season, remember this. You were never forgotten, you were never ignored, you were never less than anyone else, you were always mine, always chosen, always guided, even in the moments where it felt like you were alone, and now it is your time that my child. Now that you are stepping into this new season, you must understand something that will change the way you see everything that is about to happen in your life, because what I am bringing to you now will not look like what you lost, it will not feel like what you cried over, and it will not come in the way you expected. Because I am not restoring your past, I am revealing your future, and there is a difference, because what you lost was limited, temporary, and unable to carry the fullness of who you are becoming, but what I am placing in your life now is aligned, intentional, and designed to grow with you, to support you, and to elevate you without breaking you. And that is why you must let go of the habit of looking back, of comparing what is coming to what has already gone, because if you keep measuring your future with the pain of your past, you will miss the beauty of what is right in front of you. And I do not want you to step into this next chapter with fear, doubt, or hesitation. I want you to walk into it with confidence, with trust, and with the understanding that everything happening now is happening for you, not to you, because for so long you felt like life was working against you, like things were falling apart without reason, like nothing was going in your favor, but what you didn't realize was that things were not falling apart. They were falling into place, they were being rearranged in ways that you could not yet understand, because sometimes I have to remove what is familiar to make space for what is necessary. Sometimes I have to break what you are comfortable with to introduce you to what is meant for you, and I know that process was not easy. I know it tested your patience, your faith, and your strength, but you are still here, you are still standing. You are still believing, and that alone is proof that you are ready for what is coming next, because the version of you that is about to receive these blessings is not the same version that once begged for them. You are no longer desperate, you are no longer uncertain, you are no longer chasing things that do not see your value. You have grown into someone who understands that what is meant for you will find you without confusion, without struggle, and without you having to lose yourself in the process. And that is why this time is different. This time you will not accept less just because it is available. You will not hold on to things just because you are afraid of losing them. You will not shrink yourself just to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Because you now understand your worth, your purpose, and your alignment, and that understanding will protect you from repeating old patterns, from walking into the same cycles, from settling for temporary comfort instead of lasting fulfillment. And as you move forward, you will start to notice something. The things that once confused you will now become clear. The things that once hurt you will now make sense, and the things that once delayed you will now reveal themselves as the very reasons you are ready for this moment, because nothing you went through was wasted, nothing you experienced was meaningless. It was all building you into who you are today, into someone who is stronger, wiser, more aware, and more connected to me than ever before. And that connection, it is what will guide you through everything that is coming. It is what will give you peace when things move quickly. It is what will keep you grounded when doors start opening. It is what will remind you that everything you have now is not by chance, but by design. And I need you to hold on to that, to remember that, to stay rooted in that truth. Because elevation comes with responsibility, blessings come with awareness, and new seasons come with new levels of understanding. And I do not want you to lose yourself now that you are finally being found. I do not want you to forget your journey now that you are stepping into your destination, because it is your journey that gave you the strength to stand here. It is your waiting that taught you patience. It is your pain that gave you depth, and it is your faith that brought you to this exact moment. And now that you are here, I want you to walk differently. I want you to think differently. I want you to move with intention, with clarity, and with trust in everything I am doing in your life, because what is coming next will require you to believe in ways you never have before. It will require you to step into opportunities that once scared you. It will require you to accept blessings that once felt out of reach, and in those moments, you must not go back to your old mindset. You must not doubt yourself. You must not question if you deserve it. Because you do, you always did. You were just not ready to receive it until now. And now that you are ready, now that you are aligned, now that you are prepared, everything that once felt distant is about to come closer. Everything that once felt impossible is about to become real. And everything that once felt delayed is about to happen in a way that makes you realize why it never worked out before. Because if it had worked out earlier, you would not be who you are today. You would not have the strength, the wisdom, the clarity, and the faith that you carry now. And those things, they are the foundation of everything that is about to be built in your life. And this time, it will not collapse, It will not break, it will not disappear, because it is not built on temporary emotions or unstable situations, it is built on everything you have become, everything you have learned, and everything you have overcome, and that kind of foundation. It lasts, it grows, it stands strong no matter what comes your way, and that is why I am telling you now, with clarity, with certainty, and with love. Do not be afraid of what is coming, do not doubt what is unfolding, do not question your place in this new season, because you belong here, you were chosen for this, you were prepared for this, and now you are ready to live it.